gotten quieter, darker, and poorer. Why exactly that tweet? That's because a certain footballing, and not just a Bayern Munich or a German legend, a footballing legend in Franz Beckenbauer passed away at the age of 78. There's none like him in modern day football, or even if you were to track and trace footballing history. There's only a few players who come close to the achievements of a Franz Beckenbauer, who is a World Cup winner and a proven player. Rather, his contributions as a player as well, far beyond, in fact, far beyond what you and I can possibly understand at this moment, because of the generation that he played in. Well, his contribution to the game was revolutionary, to say the least. He came up with the position which in modern day and age we call as the sweeper. We're going to be talking about that, how he transformed the game as a player, and of course as a manager as well. How exactly is it that he made his work as far as football is concerned? We're going to be telling you all of that, everything that you possibly need to know about a certain Franz Beckenbauer, who unfortunately passed away at the age of 78. Passed away very, very peacefully, is what the family said in a statement that was issued by them, that in presence of close family members, he passed away while he was sleeping, and in a very peaceful manner. But let's now reflect back on a certified footballing legend and tell you, or rather remind you, of his contributions to the game. So let's get started and tell you the big things first. He was rather one of the three players to win the World Cup, both as a player and a manager. In 1974, he led Germany to, West Germany to the FIFA World Cup, and then in the year 1990, as a manager for Germany, then he ensured that the team got the coveted FIFA World Cup trophy yet again. So one of the only three. Who the other two? Let's tell you about the other two as well. Mario Zagallo, the other one, and Didier Deschamps, the other one as well. Mario Zagallo, by the way, unfortunately, the Brazilian, also passed away a couple of days back. But these three gents on your screen are the only ones who won the FIFA World Cup, both as a manager and a player as well. Zagallo, by the way, won the FIFA World Cup twice, in 68 and in 72 as well. Talking more about Beckenbauer, well, he led Bayern to their first 4 Bundesliga titles as well. Remember, revolutionary, like I said, in many ways, and which is why, despite the fact that he was involved in a couple of controversies later in his career, after much beyond, in fact, after his retirement as well, and we'll touch upon that too, he continues to be, or regardless of all those controversies, was regarded as one of the finest and one of the very best. Now, we talked about how he revolutionized the game. Well, this is the bit that I want to be talking to you about. He defined the role that of a libero, which is an Italian word, which loosely translates to a free player right behind the defensive lines, who set the pace of the game. So he'd be playing behind the defenders, and he was so revolutionary and so good that ways, because he would just make those runs. Look at the number of goals that he scored by the end of his career. That tells you how big an impact that he had. And in modern day, you perhaps don't call it the libero anymore, but you call that player as a sweeper. So he was perhaps that guy who defined the role of a sweeper, and he really changed the way the defensive lines or football tactics, as far as football tactics are concerned, he really added a new dimension to the game back in the 70s. Talking more about his laurels and his achievements as a player, well, he won 3 European Cups, a European Cup Winners' Cup, 5 Bundesliga titles, 4 German Cups with Bayern Munich and with Hamburg as well. The Hamburg title coming right towards the end. He's also, remember, a 2-time Ballon d'Or winner. Look at how illustrious a career he had, again winning as a manager, then as a player as well. The FIFA World Cup in 74 and in 90, as I told you, and a 2-time Ballon d'Or winner as well. You take into consideration all those achievements. There's actually very few out there who can actually, in terms of just these trophies, sort of compete with Franz Beckenbauer. Maybe a Didier Deschamps can probably come close, but there's not too many when you look at the managerial career as well, who come close to matching the legacy and the illustrious career that a Franz Beckenbauer had in 72 and in 76, winning 2 Ballon d'Ors. Franz Beckenbauer. Now, after playing for Bayern, Beckenbauer moved to New York Cosmos in 1977. This, by the way, was a move which was seen as him heading into the twilight of his career. And who did he unite with over there at New York Cosmos? cosmos, a certain Pele, who by the way had rich things to say about Franz Beckenbauer, saying that he's probably one of the finest players here that he's ever played, or rather seen on the pitch, move around with the ball. It was an absolute delight for Pele to see Beckenbauer on the pitch as well, and he had all the good things to say as well. And here's the bit that sort of marred Beckenbauer's career a bit, because in 2014 he was briefly suspended, and initially it was a provisional suspension of 90 days. He was suspended by the FIFA Ethics Committee for not collaborating and for not being cooperative enough with the FIFA ethics community that was looking into allegations of corruption and votes being brought for the 2018 FIFA World Cup, which took place in Russia, and the 2022 FIFA World Cup, then the one that took place in Qatar. It was believed that he had to do something with the whole voting process. Remember, he was one of the 22 odd member committee, the technical committee, rather the executive committee of FIFA that he was a part of back in 2010, that had voted for the 2018 and the 2022 FIFA World Cup, and his name had come up as being involved in the voting process, which many deemed didn't go the right way. There was some buying of votes that had happened. Of course, he was then discharged of all of those claims, as the committee then later found out, but there continued to be a lot of controversy around that particular time in his life. But having said that, he continued to be regarded as one of the finest footballers and managers of the world, and one of the better players that probably took to the game of football. 2 Ballon d'Ors, as I said, 72, 76. So he was a player par excellence, and somebody with the kind of record that he had, being a player that played in the defensive line, tells you a whole lot about the achievements about this great man who led Bayern Munich to their first 4 titles, and of course with Germany as well, achieving everything there is to achieve. In fact, I forgot mentioning the fact that he won the European Championship as well. So that just tells you how celebrated a career, an illustrious career Franz Beckenbauer had. And that's all that we thought you should know about the great man who unfortunately passed away. And like Bayern Munich said, and I'll conclude this video with that tweet that I started out with, that the world indeed is poorer, darker and quieter.